a report that an Army helicopter went down in the Strait. Can you give us an update on that? Are the soldiers okay?
The pilots are fine, yeah.
US President Donald Trump reacts after US military's Apache goes down near Strait of Hormuz. Mystery deepens near Hormuz after US gunship crashes just after the Iran-Israel clash. Two crew members were rescued after the helicopter incident as questions grow over whether it was hit or suffered a failure. Questions are now being raised over whether this was payback after recent CENTCOM moves in the Gulf of Oman. The New York Times reported on June 8 that a US Army Apache helicopter went down near the Strait of Hormuz. According to the New York Times, both crew members were safely rescued after the incident. The cause of the Apache incident was not immediately clear, the New York Times reported. Mechanical failure has not been ruled out, and the incident is under investigation, according to the report. The attack helicopter went down just after Israel and Iran clashed over Lebanon on June 8. The Trump administration had not publicly disclosed the incident by Monday night, the New York Times said. Apaches have notably been used to deter small boat attacks and to shoot down drones. If confirmed, this would be the first Apache lost in the conflict, according to the New York Times. Iran has also claimed to have shot down several US aircraft and drones during the war. Trump also reacted to the incident while saying he has an idea for an Iran deal.
We have ongoing negotiations in Iran and with Iran, and that hasn't stopped. And we could have at least an idea by 1 or 2 days from now, but I think it's going well. The blockade continues to hold 100%. Nothing is getting through our blockade. No oil, no income, no nothing. Nothing's getting through the blockade.
There's a report that an Army helicopter went down in the Strait. Can you give us an update on that? Are the soldiers okay?
The pilots are fine, yeah.
And was
nobody
that
injured.
Brought it down?
We are going to issue a report tomorrow, but the pilots are fine, yeah. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Sir. Thank you.
Regional tensions surged after US forces disabled an oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman on June 8, marking the latest flashpoint in the standoff with Iran. According to CENTCOM, the vessel was attempting to sail toward an Iranian port in violation of the ongoing US maritime blockade.
U.S. Central Command statement read, and I quote,
US forces disabled an unladen oil tanker in the Gulf of Oman, June 8, after the vessel violated the ongoing blockade against Iran by attempting to sail to an Iranian port. US Central Command, CENTCOM, disabled Palau-flagged MT Marivex as it transited international waters in the Gulf of Oman toward Iran. An FA-18 Super Hornet from USS Abraham Lincoln, CVN-72, fired a precision munition into the ship's engineering and steering spaces after the crew failed to comply with directions from US forces. Marivex is no longer sailing to Iran. CENTCOM forces have disabled 7 non-compliant vessels, redirected 134 ships that complied and allowed 42 vessels supporting humanitarian aid to pass since initiating the blockade on April 13. Unquote. Washington said the operation was part of a broader effort to enforce restrictions on Iran and prevent violations of the blockade. Tehran, however, accused the United States of fueling tensions and pushing the region toward a dangerous new escalation. CENTCOM says 7 vessels have been disabled since the maritime blockade against Iran was launched on April 13. US officials claim more than 130 ships have altered course and complied with instructions issued by American forces. Washington maintains that humanitarian shipments continue to transit the region despite the ongoing blockade. The blockade remains a key pillar of Washington's strategy to increase economic and maritime pressure on Iran. Iran's foreign ministry accused Washington of being directly involved in and coordinating recent Israeli military operations in the region. Tehran alleged that US Central Command has been supporting Israel in both defensive and offensive operations during the latest escalation. Iranian officials warned that the United States would be held responsible for the consequences of any further escalation or provocations in the region.
We cannot, under any circumstances, allow the Zionist regime or America to exploit the current situation to repeat their aggressions daily, expand their scope, and then simply claim that they remain committed to a ceasefire they are continuously and repeatedly violating. Therefore, our armed forces, our diplomatic apparatus, and all pillars of the Iranian nation and the Islamic Republic are fully prepared to face any situation in order to safeguard our national security and interests. Naturally, the diplomatic process that was initiated to end an imposed war, what was the philosophy of the negotiations from the beginning? The philosophy was to end the war imposed by the U.S. and the Zionist regime against Iran. It had been explicitly stated from the start, and the Pakistani mediator repeatedly emphasized that ending the war in Lebanon is part of the ceasefire. Well, if the very reason for these negotiations is undermined in any way by the Zionist regime or by any of the parties involved, namely the U.S. or Israel, then the diplomatic process will also be affected. Firstly, in our region, no one believes that the Zionist regime takes any action without prior coordination and cooperation with the United States. Also, we must not overlook the fact that the U.S. Department of State has explicitly cited protection of the Zionist regime as the primary reason for imposing this war against Iran. That has been the official U.S. position. Third, even now, despite claims by U.S. officials, we are aware that CENTCOM remains fully coordinated and cooperative with the Zionist regime, both defensively and offensively. The assertions by U.S. officials that they were unaware of the Zionist regime's actions regarding the attack on Lebanon further indicate that these officials believe, and continue to believe, that a ceasefire in Lebanon was part of the April 8 ceasefire understanding. This also raises a suspicion that either the Zionist regime is deceiving the United States, or there exists a kind of division of labor between the two. Experience shows that the latter option is far closer to reality in many cases. This is not the first time the Zionist regime has carried out a disruptive and destructive act precisely when it perceives that a process has taken a positive turn. At the highest levels, Americans have admitted, both before and after negotiations, that they kept Zionist regime officials informed of developments and acted in full coordination with them. Yet now we hear that American officials were exposed to the intelligence and security activities of the Zionist regime. This in itself is further evidence that the Zionist regime has no faith in any diplomatic process that could lead to even the slightest calm in our region. We are determined to restore relations with regional countries. The policy of good neighborliness with all countries in the region remains a consistent and unwavering policy.